Rahul, a 28 years old IT professional, lives in beautiful city, Bangalore. He has a beautiful apartment, lives with his family, and has a beautiful car which he is using for commute in the city. Everything looks so nice, but there's a big villain in the story, and that is a back pain. Now, Rahul is not alone. This is the story of millions of people in India, those who are suffering from back pain. The best minds of our country, the architect of our future digital world, are being broken by a very single thing, that is back pain. So let me tell you about my experience. Last week, I met a guy who was 25 years old, who was suffering from back pain, and he came with his father. And his father was shocked, and his father was in denial mode. He was not accepting that how he can suffer from back pain at this age. He literally used this word. इस एज में इसको कमर दर्द शुरू हो गया, ये तो बुढ़ापे वाली प्रॉब्लम इसको जवानी में ही होने लगी, अभी से ये बूढ़ा हो गया. Now let me tell you about this problem. This is not an age-related problem. It's a planned attack at your back and neck which used to take several years. But why it is so common in the IT people? Let me give you a great example so you can never forget it in your life. Think of your body, especially your spine, as a precision engineered machine. For this machine to run smoothly and hold its shape, it relies on hundreds of small, crucial parts to keep everything stable and alive. Your deep postural muscles are the essential screws which holding the entire structure together. When they are strong and healthy, the machine works perfectly. But what happens when these screws start to loosen? We think of sitting as rest for the machine. It's a huge mistake for your spine. Sitting for hours is not a rest. It's an endurance sport. During this sport, your muscle screws aren't relaxing. They are constantly firing on a low level just to hold the machine's frame up. Or they are contracting. They are continuously in a contraction mode. This is the process that slowly but surely loosen and strip these critical screws. Means slowly your muscles are becoming weak. To understand this, imagine clenching your fist tightly for 8 hours. What would happen? Your hand would ache and feel weak, right? That's exactly what's happening to the screws in your back. That is your muscles. Your muscles are being tired. This constant tension chokes the tiny blood vessels inside them. Fresh oxygen and nutrition can't get in, and toxic waste like lactic acid can't get out. Now what happens? That deep burning fatigue you will see in your back and shoulders after a long day? Because of this. Because your muscles are in continuous tension. The vessels, the small vessels are continuously choked. The blood supply and oxygen, the fuel of the muscle, is not going into the muscle. And the waste which should be come out, it's not coming out. So what will happen? Muscle is slowly becoming tired. It's a sign of physiological distress. Your muscle cells are literally crying out for oxygen. When this muscular screws becomes fatigued and choked, they can no longer hold the machine together effectively. The structure becomes unstable, parts start to grind and misalign, and eventually the machine breaks down. Now coming back to the ligaments. Now coming to the mechanical part. If your muscles are the screws, your ligaments are the locking washers. A screw provides active force, but the locking washers provides passive tension. The job is to ensure the screw does not loosen and to provide a firm and final limit to movement, keeping everything secure. Now, how slouching destroys your ligament or your locking washers? When you slouch for hours, you're forcing the machine joints to their absolute limit and holding them there. This places immense non-stop strain on the ligaments. Under this load, they're being to slowly stretch and deform in a process called creep. Now let me tell you about what is creep. So creep means the ligament lengthens and now it loses its strength and its tensile force. As this ligament washers becomes overstretched, a dangerous chain reaction begins. Imagine a metal locking washer being slowly bent out of shape hour after hour. It loses its springiness, its tension, and its ability to hold things tight. This is exactly what happens to your ligament. Now, with the washers now useless, the muscular screws have to work even harder, all the time, just to keep the machine from rattling apart. This leads to much greater muscle fatigue. This extra fatigue reinforces the poor posture that caused the problem in the first place, further damaging the ligaments. With both the washers and screws, that means ligaments and muscles, falling, the entire machine becomes unstable. This dramatically increases wear and tear on the critical parts like the intervertebral disc and the facet joints, leading to a long-term damage and chronic pain. When you don't use your deep spinal muscles due to a sedentary lifestyle, your body begins a destructive process. This is to a core problem. Your body replaces your strong, deep spinal muscle tissue with useless, non-contractile fat. This process, called fatty infiltration, isn't related to being overweight. It happens especially in muscles that are inactive, making them weak and unable to support your spine. This weakness triggers a predictable pattern called a lower cross syndrome. So your hip flexors and your lower back muscles get short and tight. In response, your deep core muscle, that your abs muscles and your glute muscles, switch off and become weak. Now, because of this lower cross syndrome, what happens? The deep, slow twitch, stabilizing muscles become weak and inhibited from disuse. They stop doing their job of holding you up. Your body still needs to stay upright. So it calls on the next basic thing. Muscles of your lower back and upper back and shoulders are recruited to a stabilizing job they were never designed for. Those muscles are type 2 muscles, or also known as fast twitch fibers. So they burn through their energy stores very quickly and are flooded with metabolic byproducts very fast. The result is that feeling of deep ache, stiffness, burning, and fatigue. Just you can think that a sprinter is running a marathon. It is a recipe for disaster. Now coming to the most dangerous part, that is your spinal disc. Think your spinal disc is like a jelly donut with a tough fibrous outer wall and squishy water-filled gel center. Outer wall is known as annulosus fibrosus and the jelly-like structure is known as nucleus pulposus. These designs make it perfect shock absorber. However, the disc has a critical weakness. It has almost no direct blood supply. It gets its food and nutrition and get rid of waste when you move. So movement act like a sponge, squeezing out waste product and then soaking up the fresh nutrients and water. So when you sit still for hours, you stop this vital pumping action. So you are literally starving your disc. A starved disc can't hold water properly, so its gel center starts to dry out, shrink, and loses its cushioning ability. Combine that with the constant uneven pressure from slouching. It's like bending the paperclip back and forth at the same spot for thousands of hours. Slow decay happens silently over years. And one day you do something simple. You bend to pick up anything, a grocery bag or anything. You squeeze or you twist the wrong way, and that's it. The final straw comes out. So this is known as typically a slip disc. Now the weakened outer wall finally gives away and the jelly-like center bursts out, and sometimes it hits a nerve. That's your slip disc or disc collapse. And it's not an accident, it's a predictable end. It wasn't the sneeze that hurts you. It was the thousands of hours you spent in a chair that made the disc weak enough to break. The following table summarizes the stark findings of the several key studies, providing a clear look at how common these debilitating conditions are among IT workers today. So here is the table. You can see how much problem IT workers are facing today. Oh, it's very scary, like a horror movie. Now coming back to solutions. Don't worry, the good news is you have the power to stop this. It's not about buying a 50,000 rupees chair. It's about behavior. Here is your simple 3-step plan. So step 1 is engineer your workspace. It takes only 2 minutes for perfectly aligned chair and your setup. So how your setup should be. First, feet flat on the floor. Back should be supported. If your chair is not like that, use a small cushion or a roll towel in the curve of your lower back. Your eye should be at your monitor level. So generally what happens when you keep your eye at your monitor level, what happens? So you have to keep your hand like this to get for the keyboards and mouse. So better you just invest for an external keyboard and mouse, so your hand should be like this. Your eye should be at your monitor level. It should not be like this. It should be like this. Now step 2, obey the 30-minute rule. If not possible at 30 minutes, you can go for 45 minutes also and for 1 hour. But try for 30. Set a timer on your phone or watch. Every 30 minutes, you must get up for just 1 or 2 minutes. Walk to get water, do simple stretch. Just stand up. Interrupting the sitting is more important than anything else. Remember this mantra. Now, step 3, the 5-minute anti-sitting workout. Do this during your break. First, standing hip flexor stretch. This is the ultimate anti-sitting stretch. It opens up those tight hip muscles. Second, shoulder blades squeezing like this, like this, like this, like this. Just pull your shoulders back and forth and stretch the tight shoulder blade muscles. Third, you can get up and do a standing cobra pose so that you can stretch your back. And if you have a good time and if you have a space, you can do a proper spinal mobility exercise. I'm not going deep into the exercises, but still there are few basic stretches which you can do while taking a break, like cat and cow pose, any spinal mobility exercise. That is more than enough. Look, the world is not going to stop needing software engineers, financial analysts, and brilliant minds who work at desks. The nature of our work has changed, so our approach to health must change too. The greatest threat to our tech professional today isn't just burnout, it's the physical damage from thousands of hours in a chair. The traditional break room, including the smoke room, was designed for different era and for different purpose. I know many IT companies have smoke room for change or for break, but please add a separate room for a gym setup, just a separate room for mobility and stretching. Just few yoga mats, foam roller, and that's it. Where employees can spend just 5 minutes to perform stretching their spines and reactivating key muscles. So this is a strategic, high return investment with clear benefits. This isn't just a perk, it's a strategic necessity for any company that truly believes in its people are its greatest asset. So let's conclude this video. So if this video opened your eyes, please share it with every single person you know who works at desk. You could literally save them from a lifetime of pain. And tell me in the comments below, what is the one small change you will make starting today? And don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay healthy and stay moving. Jai Hind.